But as far as the makeup goes, I kind of just took their jury numbers and compared them to the notes that I took last week when I was here for jury selection. You have one who's a scientist, one whose brother is a security guard. This is Sean Combs. He's a cultural icon, a businessman. He's larger than life. But then she went and kind of talked about the defendant's crimes, the defendant being Diddy.
A witness took the stand, and within minutes, Trump's inner circle was exposed. Connections, money, influence. This isn't just a trial anymore, it's a scandal unraveling in real time. For weeks, the Diddy trial has been developing under public eye. Charges of racketeering, intimidation, and financial manipulation flooded the courtroom. The events took a sinister turn when a former associate with close ties to the entertainment business and political fundraising circles claimed that money linked to Diddy's network had once gone via groups linked with Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Serious charges against the music entrepreneur might destroy his company. In the courtroom, there was quiet. Reporters paused in middle of typing. Though limited in the federal courtroom, cameras outside the building seemed to tremble with expectation as the words were pronounced for record. Prosecutors said that the financial records, which included shell donations, LLC transfers, and routed payments, raise major questions regarding campaign finance violations and overseas money laundering. Though Trump has not been charged in connection to the matter, the ramifications were explosive.
Some people just very much intently listening to both Emily Johnson for the prosecution as well as Tony Garagos for the defense. He knew Diddy was arrested but didn't know the charges. You have one person who's part of a union job. He works for the Department of Corrections. This is Sean Combs. He's a cultural icon, a businessman. He's larger than life. But then she went and kind of talked about the defendant's crimes, the defendant being Diddy.
Still, it was not the end. Arguing that these connections were just circumstantial, defense attorneys objected during cross-examination. Still, the prosecution ramped up its efforts. They showed emails, some dating almost 10 years, in which Combs-affiliated Hollywood professionals appeared to interact with political consultants who had already served on Trump's campaign. Names were deleted for public consumption, but those familiar with the investigation confirmed that several of the email conversations were well-known Trump close friends. The emails contained hazy references to promises of event access, financial support, and media cooperation in return for influence, favors, or silence on particular probes. In a few hours, the internet was ablaze. On social media, hashtags including #TrumpDiddyLink and #DiddyTrialExposed went widespread. Political commentators of all shades hurried to disentangle the intricate web. Was there something sinister happening here, or was it merely association guilt? Was the Diddy trial only the start of years of covert favor exchanging between the entertainment sector and political elite? On cable, news coverage turned into frenzy. Legal analysts on MSNBC called to it as the most damaging crossover scandal since Watergate. Fox News' hosts used more defensive tones, which questioned the accuracy and timeliness of the revelations. Still, the shocks were indisputable.
But as far as the makeup goes, I kind of just took their jury numbers and compared them to the notes that I took last week when I was here for jury selection. You have one who's a scientist, one whose brother is a security guard that went past 20 years, kidnapping, allegations of arson, allegations of drug trafficking, sex crimes, obstruction.
Trump was already caught in several legal conflicts, ranging from election meddling to secret materials. Hence, he could not afford to ignore this fire. Insiders said in confidence that Trump's legal team conducted late-night emergency sessions. Publicly attacked as baseless, desperate name drops from a sinking defendant, the developments off record, though, Trump's closest advisors seemed to be enraged. A senior advisor described the circumstances as completely blindsiding and charged the Department of Justice of releasing specific papers to undermine Trump before the 2024 election season started. Diddy's defense team claimed, however, that their client was ignorant of the root of some cash and that any political overlap was, at worst, accidental, therefore reducing the Trump link. The prosecution would not waver, though. They maintained that a clear pattern of influencing national policy via political back channels and celebrity-driven events was beginning to manifest, and that the money trail was not lying. The core of it all was a paper called The List. Prosecutors described the list as a confidential ledger of financiers, celebrities, and political allies. It included coded items that matched several transactions involving Trump-aligned PACs and unidentified contributions.
Another person who is now retired but previously used to work at Verizon, they were talking about one specific night where the defendant was on the hunt for girlfriend Cassie.
Though none of the records specifically cited illegal activity, the network of relationships was clearly dubious. And as the jurors saw the room, the vibe altered. Not alone was money a consideration. Testimony from another witness claims that a former event planner for one of Diddy's largest charitable galas was instructed to designate particular VIP donors from the political scene near Diddy and his inner circle. She said she overheard conversations about strategies for lobbying, forthcoming appointments, and how a couple big names might fix problems. Pressured for more specifics, she stopped before saying, one of those names was Trump. That disclosure surprised even the most experienced court watchers. It presented not only a music business gone crazy, but also a possible junction of political plotting at the highest levels of American power, celebrity, and wealth. The reactions were rapid. Legislators insisted on investigating campaign funding's irregularities. FOIA requests were sent by watchdog organizations looking for correspondence between the Trump campaign and known Combs-affiliated groups. Marching outside the courthouse, campaigners displayed placards bearing "No one is untouchable" and "Politics and power must be transparent." In a stinging comment, the Trump team referred to the trial as a circus designed to distract the public from real issues, and labeled the comments of the former president as a leftist smear campaign orchestrated through weaponized lawfare. Still, the narrative had acquired impetus in spite of these challenges. At the core of Diddy's trial were more than one individual. It had grown more all-encompassing, a reflection on how modern America's power and celebrity interact. And Trump was right in the middle of that storm as usual. He was not yet a defendant, even if the courtroom revelations exposed a curtain many thought existed, but had never seen so vividly. The weeks following the testimony saw new subpoenas issued. Federal agencies began searching for questionable gifts. Interviews with former publicists, advisors, and financial consultants grew in count. An increasing number of analysts believe that what began in a courtroom of a music entrepreneur might soon become a thorough investigation of political corruption.